Are you ready to learn all the tools that you need to hire your first virtual assistant? If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai. I run a virtual assistant agency here in the Philippines, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, I do have a previous video where I walk you through step by step the different ways that you can hire your first virtual assistant, but now I want to focus on the tools itself. There's so many tools that most people will think about when it comes to needing to hire, but I really boiled it down to the top ones that you just really need if you're doing this by yourself. And honestly, when 2XU started, these were also the tools that I was using for just hiring our assistants. Right now, we do have a more robust system. We have a whole recruitment team at this point, but when we started, when I was first hiring people myself, this is what I used. Now, the first one you'll need is an admin email. So this could be just an admin at, for example, for us, admin at 2XU.com, or right now it's apply at 2XU.com. For this is just a way for you to have a separate email that you can use when it comes to filtering these applicants. You don't want them to be knowing what your personal or your work email is. That's why it's really important that you have a separate email just for this. The second thing that you'll need is a separate Google Drive folder, or at least if you are using Google Drive, you can use Dropbox, OneDrive, up to you what works. But it's basically to the point of just having a place where you can start storing resumes, application letters, so on and so forth, without, again, cluttering your other parts of your workspace. Now, the next thing that you need is ChatGPT. Now, I have done so many videos here on my channel on how to use ChatGPT. If you still haven't seen what ChatGPT looks like, it's basically this. After you create your own account, this is the first thing that you'll see. And I have so much content on how to use ChatGPT as an entrepreneur that you can check out. But basically, we'll use ChatGPT for three things. One is writing out the job description. 2 is writing out the job advertisement, and 3, creating the email responses for you. So on breaking down the job description, before we even jump into that, if you're going to be using ChatGPT, I recommend that you use the WOAH method when you're sending your first message or your first chat on ChatGPT. Now, what the WOAH method is a way to prime ChatGPT to know what it is, basically to give it context, to know what it is that you are asking from it. So WOAH is W is who you are, what you do, and who you serve. So right here, I just put I run a fiction book publishing company. I kept it really short. I can add the kind of authors we usually get, what kind of books we publish, but I'm trying to keep it very basic for you right now. And the O is the outcome. You know, what expertise, what outcome, what type of thing are you looking to create? So I put here, I need your expertise to hire my admin virtual assistant. So for this video, I've kind of just narrowed down, and let's say you're just hiring your first admin virtual assistant. You can replace this with your marketing assistant. You can replace this with almost any type of hire that you need. ChatGPT will provide that for you. And the A in the WOAH method is, are you ready? This is making sure that ChatGPT understands what it is you're asking for it. And the H is just like how, basically. So if you need it to be on a table form, if you need it to be in a funny form. But again, keeping this super simple, I'm just going to be stopping at the are you ready? Usually say, yep, I'm ready to help. You know, give me what you need. So next is, like I said, we'll use ChatGPT to actually write the job description for this role. So in previous videos, I've talked about different ways you can figure out who your first assistant should be, your first hire should be. And I break down, like, look at the current tasks that you're doing, look at the things that you're hoping someone would actually get to or actually do in your business. You can look at a lot of different lists that you might already have. But for this, let's say I have no idea what I'm going to delegate first. I have no idea what that looks like for me, but it has the context of I run a publishing company. Let's see what it puts out. So can you break down the job description for an admin virtual assistant in my business? So from that, again, because I gave ChatGPT the background of who I am and what I do, it can then start writing this whole job summary for us of something that I can then use as like an official document for myself. So what I really recommend is when you're using ChatGPT or any AI generating tool just like this one, is you double check it. Make sure that you make it yours, you customize it, you remove anything that doesn't make sense for you in your business. So let's say for here we have responsibilities is email calendar management, data entry, communication and correspondence, bookkeeping, research and coordination, and general admin support. And these are the requirements. So I'll add here of, can you edit to focus mainly on mail and calendar management and social media. So let's say, again, I'm editing this. So then I'm making this specific to who it is that I need, that I know I need for my business. By the way, I'm using the fiction publishing company because I did used to run a book publishing company here in the Philippines. But basically, yeah, we're writing it out of like, hey, email, social media coordination, communication with correspondence, data entry, and then general admin support. So it modified the job description basically based on what I asked. So you can ask it to take out any of these. You can ask it to like, hey, can you add this as a part of the task list, so on and so forth, and it will modify that for you. So it's a pretty cool way to kind of have a brainstorming person that you're talking to, and makes it super duper easy for you to be able to just use this in the future. So the next thing that we're going to ask ChatGPT to do is writing out the actual job advertisement that you'll use for the different websites that you're thinking of hiring from. So what I've written here is, can you write the job advertisement I can post that has the Easter egg code, and I'll explain that in a little bit, code word where the applicant has to use in the Google form that is the call to action to fill out. So here, I always recommend this to people who are hiring for the first time, is add an Easter egg to the job ad. And what the Easter egg basically is just a silly word, or it could be a custom word that you're asking the applicant to use when it comes to applying to make sure they actually read through the whole thing. So for example, when I was hiring for my admin assistant, I would put in, make sure that on the subject line you write superstar admin assistant. So for this one, again, because we're focused a lot on tools, we'll say that we're using Google Form for them to apply to, and for them to have the Easter egg code word in there. So I'm going to click enter on that. And now it's creating like the whole description. So we have, our fiction book publishing company, which you can change, is seeking a dedicated admin virtual assistant. Join the team. Here's responsibilities. Here are their requirements. How to apply. So for the how to apply, we can change this for sure, where it'll go to the link basically to the form, which we'll create in a little bit. Look at the page, look for the bio. In the Google form, enter the code call to action section, and then complete the rest of the Google form with your information and submit. So that's how quick and easy it would be now for ChatGPT to just create your job ad. You don't have to write it yourself. Again, modify and customize this to what makes sense to you and your business. That way, when they actually apply, it is coming from you as the person who is hiring. And lastly, we can ask ChatGPT to go ahead and write the email responses for applicants, from setting up the interview to getting rejected or accepting the job. So this is with the assumption that once you receive these job ads, you'll immediately just go ahead and set them up for an interview, and then later on reject or accept them and give them the job offer for the job. So that's just kind of the assumption that I've put on here. You can modify it and ask like, hey, can you do like a series of emails for X, Y, and Z part of my hiring process? But right off the bat, you now have emails that you just can use now for sending these to the applicants. You can copy and paste this right onto your Gmail or whichever email client that you're using. And then you're able to just send responses to your applicants. Next is you want to set up your Google form and your Google Sheets. So earlier I was talking about like on sending basically the information to the applicant on the job ad itself, you might want to use a Google form. So usually what people would do is, they send just an application letter right into the email ad. What I've found is once you get enough volume, your email will just pile up with people who are not even qualified, who are not even a match. So the Google form makes it super easy for you to just filter people through. So here, this is the actual form again that I used when I was starting out to XU. So I put it just online application form. You can change and add basically the name of your company on here. And I put this form is for applicants for XYZ. So of XYZ, so this is just your company name. And fill out the form below. You can delete this for sure. This is just if you have multiple positions that you have open. All of these will be linked below, by the way, for the template for this. We'll have the full name, the contact number, date of birth, marital status. Depending on which country you're from, you might have to delete these. But here in the Philippines, it's actually totally valid to ask for this information. And then I put here Google Drive link to resume. Again, it could be OneDrive, Dropbox, anywhere, but I find it easier that rather than them uploading the resume into your form here, which makes your Google Drive a little bit heavier. It could be that, or it could just be, honestly, you can just put link to resume, because if they're using Canva, it makes it also easier for you to just browse and go through their resume. Second part is asking them, they have the following: a laptop, stable internet, or do they have their own business on the side? What's their expected salary? Just so you know, how did you find out the job? So you know the source. This is just a nice little thing of like, if you send them the link to your website, they'll be able to get to know you more. If they see themselves as a match anyway, you want to have them filter themselves out basically. And here is the Easter egg code. So here, if you remember, we asked it to write up the Easter egg. So here, this is where we'll kind of change it from ChatGPT. So here we'll put in, visit the application form. So here what it actually says is, visit the site, then look for the bio of our CEO and find the Easter egg code we're hidden within. So you can actually just put the Easter egg code on here of like, visit our the application form, use the Easter egg code, amazing person, and then submit it there. So that's kind of one of the easier ways. You can make it as intricate as ChatGPT is suggesting, but that'll be up to you. But then that'll be, again, a way for you to filter out people who aren't really reading the job ad, they're submitting. It's just a quick and easy way to see if they actually get it right. Next is, after kind of basically being able to capture the data of the applicants here, you want to create a Google Sheet, and this is a cool thing, is you can go ahead and create a spreadsheet from Google Sheets that will directly fill out every time that someone goes ahead and fills out the form. So let's say linking spreadsheet, then you can click view in sheets. And then here, because it'll fill out, again, all of the information for it, you'll see if someone fills out the Easter egg or not. And one thing that I usually used to do when I was running all of the recruitment for this is I'll add in a status part of the column. So what I used to do is I'll go to data, I'll go into data validation, I'll add rule, and here I'll just do it as a drop down of received, basically. Option 2 is processed, scheduled interview, and then just a quick fail or pass. And then of course you can make this really pretty. You can just add in the colors that signifies where they're at on the process. I just made, of course, red for fail and green for pass, and then done. And then so now every time that I get an application from this from the form, I can just process them through right here, and I can track where they're at, where they are on the process. Are they being scheduled for an interview? Have they done it? Have they failed, or they passed? And again, it's a really quick way, and of course you can easily just drag like that. So for future, if you have more and more applicants coming in, you can do just that. So that is the simplest way you can do this. Right now we're using tools like Notion, basically, grabbing from JotForm, and has like all of this like complicated automations that we have set up. But again, if you're just doing this by yourself or hiring your first assistant, these are the tools basically that I've used before. So now that you have basically your job ad, you have the description, you have the way to capture them and put them onto a Google Sheet where you can track their progress. The next tool that you need, honestly, is LinkedIn. So the reason why I'm bringing up LinkedIn is it's one of the ways that you can verify if they're an actual person or not once they're applying. So even here, going back to the Google form, you can even add an option here to link to their LinkedIn very quickly to LinkedIn, and that's just it. So you can easily just check their actual like profiles on there. But I've found honestly that whenever someone is active on LinkedIn, or at least have set up their profile on LinkedIn, it kind of gives me this additional like they're a real person. So I would use the search bar to basically start looking for people who I can look up to based on their LinkedIn profile on the application form. And again, it's just a way for me to verify that they're an actual person. So LinkedIn has been a tool for me, not just for also verifying, but of course you can start adding and posting jobs onto LinkedIn. You can also just start a post, and I can literally copy and paste this whole description on here right onto LinkedIn. But that's just one of the ways that you can use it as well. There's so many other job sites that you can start posting on as well, depending on where you're hiring. So for example, for the Philippines, I always just recommend onlinejobs.ph, just because it's like, you can look for talent here or looking for work, or you can actually post the job here. And you can also, of course, look for sites on Google itself for like where to post hiring in the Philippines. Of course, there's just Job Street or different places, but the reality is most of these places will need you to be a registered Philippine corporation, which is why at 2X we're a registered Philippine corporation, so we can actually reach all of these other jobs. But honestly, when it comes to now finding your virtual assistant, when you post the job advertisement, it's going to be so quick and easy for you to start getting applicants, even if you use Facebook groups. So Facebook groups has been one of the tools that I have used in 2XU to this day of finding really good applicants, because most of the applicants are just looking on different job sites as well, Facebook groups. So it's just one of the ways that you are growing, basically just how well known you can be as an employer looking for someone. And of course, once you start getting people in, you started filtering people through, you've looked at their resumes, who could be a better fit, so on and so forth. You can then use Zoom when it comes to the video interviews or even just the voice interviews. So I recommend Zoom just because, one, you can record. And for me, I like going back sometimes to applicants to make notes if there was anything that I missed. It's also a good way that you can share. Let's say you have other people on your team. You can share the link to the recording to other people in your team so they can also review it. It's just a quick and easy way to be able to just have a recorded way for how you've talked to these applicants before. And of course, as a bonus tip for you, if you are stuck on what questions you can ask, create 10 interview questions to assess the applicant. ChatGPT comes in strong. I have so many ChatGPT resources for you guys, by the way. Feel free to check it out in the description. But right here, you can now just use these for interview questions when you do get to the point where you're interviewing the applicant that you've chosen. That is basically it for the top tools I recommend when it comes to hiring. I will be doing a series of other videos of tools you can use when it comes to managing your assistant, paying your assistant, so make sure to check those out. And of course, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what hiring tips do you have or tools that you've used before. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and with that, small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!